love that triple header. We got Colts, we got Vikings. Greggy, the Vikings disrespect has to stop. Only a 3.5-point favorite at home against the 4-win Colts. What is going on here?
And that line moved towards the Colts. I think it's crazy. I'm taking the Vikings in this game. The disrespect stops here. And it's partly because of Kirk Cousins. People think they know Kirk Cousins, like he's just this same boring guy each and every week. No, he's one of the most streaky quarterbacks that's ever played in this league. I wrote this column called QB Index for years, and what I knew about Kirk Cousins is when he gets on a heater, he gets on a heater, and he was incredible last week. He was one of the best quarterbacks in the league, dime after dime against Detroit, and I think that was the start of something special. Kirk Cousins is going to be playing with the same amount of confidence as Patrick Claybon in a suit 2 sizes too big. He's going to be amazing this week.
He's breaking out the grills this week, folks. Cynthia, what do you like here?
I have about the same margin here, 27-22 in favor, again, of the Vikings. I liked the Vikings last week. I'm going to run it back here. I think this is an interesting one to see if Dalvin Cook can be kind of the guy that we saw in spurts. Sometimes it looks good, sometimes it doesn't look so good. When I'm looking at Dalvin Cook, if this is going to be a team that goes deep into the playoffs, they're going to need Dalvin Cook to be far more effective and efficient. Because when I'm looking at Dalvin Cook and I'm looking at those outside runs, it is a much different situation when you have Dalvin Cook and he's effective than when you don't.
Yes. Let's get Dalvin to have a good game. Let's get the Vikings to have a good game. A big win. Not as big as the jackets that I was wearing.
We're going to be talking about that all
early
show.
aughts. But the one thing, because we talk about respect, these are the 2 quarterbacks with the most fourth-quarter comebacks in the entire league. And I don't think Kirk is going to need a fourth-quarter comeback in this one. 24-17, Vikings win, because we talk about Justin Jefferson a lot. And in a lot of receiving statistics, Justin Jefferson is number 1. The Colts play a lot of single high, second in the league. And again, as he does in most receiving categories.
And press, name it all.
Yeah, he leads the league in receiving yards against single high coverage. The Colts are going to sputter in the red zone like they have all season. Their touchdown percentage is 28th in the league. Kirk does it again, and he's going to do something cringy, and we're all going to laugh at it.
I'm sure. I know the Vikings haven't been like a stylish team to like this year. They're not in, like Patrick's jacket was way back when. But I'm picking them this week over the Colts. The Jeff Saturday experiment has just kind of gone off the rails here. Before the bye, look at what they have had to sit and feel and really think about. The Cowboys beat them 54-19 before the bye. Okay, they've just been stewing in that, and unfortunately, it's going to continue. The Vikings 24-17. They can clinch a playoff spot, their first division title since 2017, and doing it at home with a win. They're going to do it. Patrick, you had to know this was coming. Yep. We tried to get you not to do it last week.
Oh.
Yep. You've picked the Ravens all year, but the quarterback situation had you shooketh, and you went down with the rest of us. The Ravens. Look at that.
I should have. That's the face that I made.
Shoulda, woulda, coulda. The Ravens are road underdogs on Saturday. Come back to the Ravens flock, Patrick. It is okay. They forgive you. What are you going with?
Yes, I hope that they do. I will take the Baltimore Ravens here, 16-14, because last week I made a mistake. I didn't consider the backup quarterback. And in this game, the backup quarterback for the opposition is better than the guy that's going to be starting for them. And I'm looking back at Jacoby Brissett and what he did against the Ravens back in Week 7, 22 of 27. He had a 106 rating. Problem was he got sacked 5 times. That might have been the difference. A dude that was in the offense and practicing all offseason had issues with the pressure. So how's it go this time with Amari Cooper trying to play through a core muscle injury? I'm just not picking the Browns at this point. Give me Baltimore.
Yeah, it feels good to pick against the Browns. And it feels good to pick Tyler Huntley. It feels good to pick this Ravens defense, too. Since they've added Roquan Smith, they are a different defense. I have the Ravens winning this game 19-14, and it's because of the linebackers. Like, get you a linebacker that can do it all. Roquan Smith stops the run. Nick Chubb in this running game has not been the same since Deshaun Watson took over because they have Watson in shotgun a lot, and it doesn't work. So Roquan and Patrick Queen will get you stopping the run. They're going to get you blitzing. They're going to get you in coverage. I think Roquan Smith has really unlocked what Patrick Queen can do. And Deshaun Watson, since he's taken over at quarterback, is just a step slow with all of his decision-making. And these linebackers are fast, so I think they're going to feast. And they're underdogs this week. That's disrespect, too.
Two upsets so far. What do you like?
I'm going to make it a third here. I have 22-21 for the Ravens. I want to talk about J.K. Dobbins now, who has returned from injury. Obviously, what do the Ravens like to do?
Run the ball.
Yep, run the ball.
Win.
Also win.
Eat crab cakes.
Kick 80-yard
crab
field
cakes
goal.
in football. That's what Maryland. Yeah.
That's just.
Look, I'm liking what I see from J.K. Dobbins. He adds an extra step. The Browns have been vulnerable to the run. I also think that scheming with Tyler Huntley means a lot of J.K. Dobbins' volume, means you're going to play him in fantasy. It means all of the runners on this team are going to be an opportunity for you to excel. I also think it means ball control because we've seen some very weird offensive play calling on the other side. And the team that controls the ball here is the team that wins. None of those heavy sets that, why are the Browns not using Nick Chubb anymore? I don't know. I can't tell you why, but I can tell you that J.K. Dobbins will eat up the clock and the Ravens 22-21.
Man, a year ago I used to look at this game on the calendar and be like, yes, I'm buckling up for this one. And now I look at it and with the injuries and just the mess that's going on, I feel like this is going to be one of the uglier games this weekend. I'm going Ravens as well, 16-14. Meme alert. Thank you, Greg's children.
I thought I'd be all cute, like picking an upset here and maybe get a just Greg, and here we go.
No, and I don't like to talk about this too much, but you can obviously the disconnect with Deshaun Watson. He looks like a quarterback that hasn't played football in a very long time, and I thought it was really interesting. He came out this week and said, obviously, I want to be better, but this team needs to be better as well. Don't say that. Maybe don't say that. Maybe just don't say anything because the team has been through hell trying to back you up, and now they're in this mess this season. So I am going Baltimore Ravens. I am steering clear of the Browns for the rest of the season. Time for the Drive to Excellence presented by Mercedes-Benz. Oh my goodness, I cannot wait for this game, Cynthia. It was 300 degrees in Miami in week 3. Okay, we all saw them sweating on the sideline. It will be significantly colder in Buffalo on Saturday night. The Bills are 7-point favorites. A, would you go to this game? Would you brave the cold? And B, who do you think's winning?
100% I would go. That is like the most fun place. You just have to like buy snow pants, get the hand
You just
warmer.
gotta accept that you're gonna be frozen. You won't be able to speak.
Right, but that's a fun place to go, and those Bills fans, they come out in droves, like this is a big game, and I think they see a nice big win here. I have 28-19 in this matchup in favor of the Bills in the cold, 120-degree swing, blah, blah, blah. We've all heard it. But I really want to talk about Josh Allen, specifically how his tackles line up really, really wide. Why do they do that? Because then Josh Allen can run. So when you're talking about Josh Allen's advantage and everyone's saying, well, if there's one thing about this team that needs to blah, 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 like you need to run the football with someone other than Josh. Well, if they're going to keep their tackles out wide, he's going to keep doing this, especially if they're not going to be bringing a ton of pressure. And I also think that it's an interesting note there because when they line up out wide, Spencer Brown on the right and you got Deion Dawkins on the left, it makes a big B gap between the guard and the tackle. So if they are going to run, perhaps inside runs are the ones to do, and maybe that's not the best place to run on the Dolphins. So I like this, and I also think, Josh Allen, little running, maybe a little tease for later, but I'm not writing that down, but I would write down one touchdown for him, a rushing touchdown for him.
Yeah, like you could run it with other people, but you also have a cyborg on your team. Why not?
Yeah.
I like a good cyber, but plus, if you run it, he's not going to, less of a chance of throwing an interception. He does have a few interceptions this season.
And I agree with Josh Allen. One thing, the most important thing that Josh Allen said this week that I appreciated was that cold weather is cold. Josh Allen is a Californian.
Cold.
A scholar.
You don't get magical cold powers by being in a place. Like the temperature is the temperature. I'm over all of that, but as Cynthia mentioned, and Greg pointed out, the Bills have a giant mechanized robot playing quarterback who can run the ball. And sneaking out of nowhere, the Bills have a top 10 rushing offense. The Buffalo Bills in a rushing offense that we maligned coming into the season, they're in the top 10. The Bills can run the ball against the Dolphins team that's going to be playing in cold weather. Yes, the cold and the temperature and precipitation perhaps does impact the passing game.
Space heaters in LA.
Well, the thing is, they were playing in Los Angeles against the team that cannot stop anybody on the ground, and they refuse to run the ball. So based on, I am picking them to cover, but I do have the Bills winning 21-8.
Close win, though.
I'm similar. I think 7 points is too much, so I have the Dolphins covering this spread, but I have the Bills winning this game, and it's because they have Matt Milano and Tremaine Edmonds. It's linebacker day on Game Day View. Matt Milano is the man. You know all the smart football guys who are like, you got to take away the middle of the field against Tua. That's just like the thing right now. You know how you do that with like incredible linebackers? There's only a few of those around. Fred Warner is one of them a couple weeks ago. Matt Milano's
Where do you go to
another
school?
one. Where did he go to school?
Boston College.
I knew Cynthia would like this. I remember she shouted that out when I called him a sneaky good player, Matt Milano, 4 years ago. He's not sneaky good anymore. He's an all-pro, and he's really working well with Tremaine Edmonds. Their defense has been different when both of them are on the field at the same time, and they are both healthy enough to play this game. Love them this week.
A couple of thoughts here. First off, thoughts and prayers to our good friend Colleen Wolfe, who apparently bought herself some electric heated pants because she's doing the pre-show in Buffalo.
I can't
Her
wait for
pants
this.
will be the wires. They'll be heated. Okay, so
love
she'll
it.
be
That sounds like
cozy.
a good time.
But guess what?
That's smart.
None of the football players will be having this happen. I want you to see something. I want you to see Mike McDaniel before the game. I think this was at practice this week. Look at the shirt that he is wearing. I wish it were colder. Listen, I'm from Canada. Okay, if you're in a group, you're with people, and it's always the person that's like, I'm not cold. I can wear a t-shirt out here. They're the coldest. Okay, I've seen this before. I know this person. And like Cynthia mentioned, when they were at SoFi a week ago, they had heaters on their bench in Los Angeles. I'm going Bills, baby. Give me the Bills. Give me a 28-21 win for the Buffalo Bills.
Can we pull that shirt back up?
I wish it were colder.
Can we pull that shirt back up?
Please.
Because I'm gonna. Why do they not have a nicer screen? Like this. Somebody get this man a better shirt than
I think
this.
he ironed it on that
It
morning.
was definitely an iron-on. It looks
you
like
were
the colder, like on the side of a soda thing you
Yeah,
get, like a
beverage.
We were
at, like,
talking
a
about this on my
convenience store.
podcast this week. I feel like he's going to show up in like a short sleeve shirt.
And flip-flops
on
just
the
because.
sideline.
I want him
Like,
like
he's
I want him
cold.
like Michelin Man with like a thin, and we have to like figure out like is
We
that
need to
Mike
get him
McDaniel?
some of Colleen's pants.
Yes.
I think. I'm so excited for this
electric.
game. Weather aside, it's going to be a very good game of football. Okay, on to the next one. Lions-Jets on Sunday. And I know it was a week ago and has nothing to do with this game, but can we just continue to appreciate this Penei Sewell? Dan Campbell, I love you. Ben Johnson is a genius. Lions forever. Even if our good friend Cynthia Freeland won't love you, Lions.
I do love you.
I will. Patrick, I'm going to start with you. I want to give Cynthia a chance to change her mind
Okay.
here and just like sit and think about this game. So I'm going to start with you. Lions, Jets, who do you like?
I appreciate that because we need Cynthia to be back picking.
We
the
need her on
Lions.
board.
I am going to pick the Lions in this one. I've got 22-19 win over the Jets, and that is because I'm wondering if Quinnen Williams is going to play in this game, missing multiple practices this week. He was so dominant in the past few weeks. You look at his performance against the Buffalo Bills. Their defense is very good, even though Greg left C.J. Mosley off of his list of linebackers that can cover up the middle. I feel like that's
a little
bulletin board
older.
material.
There's a tease.
Okay. So, but potentially, he has the highest pressure percentage among defensive tackles. He's got one of the highest run defensive grades in 2022. Mike White's beat up. This all, Cynthia, is all telling me Lions. It's just all telling me Lions.
Telling me Lions too. When I put that crown on my head at the top of the show, it's because of the Lions. I've restored the roar. Picking the Lions every week is like the only thing I've done well right now. I think the Lions win this game because Ben Johnson looks at the middle of the field. Patrick Claybon was talking about the linebacker and the safety position for the Jets is, I think, where you can attack. And who's great over the middle of the field? It's Amon-Ra, St. Brown. It's DeAndre Swift, who looks healthy again. And C.J. Mosley's great, but you were giving me a lot of stats. Run defense, rushing the passer. I don't think he's as good in coverage. I think the Lions are faster there. And we should mention, Mike White is not playing in this game.
Nope.
It was 26-24 in my score prediction, and then I found out Zach Wilson is playing. So I like the Lions to score a lot of points, no matter who they're playing, no matter what the weather is. I do not like Zach Wilson to score a lot of points in this game.
Okay. I still have the Jets.
Oh.
24-22 in this matchup.
We try, guys.
There's a
We
lot of
try
Roys
every week.
available in this one, like Rookie of the Year candidates. There's some on defense, Sauce Gardner, Aiden Hutchinson. But on offense, give me my camera. I'm talking about the Jets. Offensive Rookie of the Year candidate, Garrett Wilson. Do you not think he's going to play well? What are we talking about here? I understand it's Zach Wilson. I understand that this seems a little bit more difficult. But I think both Bam, Zonovan Knight. I don't know if the Bam, it's hard for me to say that. It just seems silly.
Bam Knight.
Bam Knight. Okay, Zonovan Knight. I think he's going to have a good game. When you look at this Lions defense, guess what they rank against the pass? 30th. Guess what they rank against yards
Those
per
are
play
old
allowed?
numbers. Those
Better.
are old,
32nd.
crusty
They're
numbers
getting
using the
better.
first month of the season.
Yeah,
That's
It's-
old time.
The first month of the season was 2 months ago.
Long time to be.
No, it's not. Justin Jefferson just scored like all of the yards, 223. That was a lot. That was a lot of yards. So I think you got to look and see. I'm not sorry. I love the Lions. It's not a love. This is how you know I do love them, because even though they're losers, I still love them.
Give me my camera as an iconic.
Give me my camera. Okay, well, give me my
I've been working with
camera.
Adam Rank too long. That's my thing.
I'm going Lions here. Come on. Greg and I have enjoyed riding this team the entire season, and I will continue to do so until the end of the regular season, 27-21. And I want to talk about this quarterback situation. Mike White's not playing. Okay, Zach Wilson has had a weird couple of weeks. You guys remember this? What was this, 2-3 weeks ago? Everyone showed up wearing Mike White t-shirts for his first start. You know, Zach Wilson's on that very bus behind them. He is seeing them all wear these shirts. That is awkward and weird, and he is young and impressionable, and now he has to come back and play with this locker room who he has lost, apparently, from what we are seeing. That's going to be kind of tough to gel and mesh with these guys when they're who knows, they might show up wearing Mike White shirts again.
That would be
weekend.
rude.
That would be insane, but I wouldn't put it past them when the Lions inevitably win. Huh? How do you feel about that?
Great. Anything you need.
What about a full Honolulu blue lion costume?
Yeah,
I mean,
and she has to
listen,
roar like a
I don't
lion.
believe in wearing other people's jerseys, but I do have some Detroit jerseys, and I will wear one if the Lions
Yes,
win.
here we go.
I have
Heard it here
I have a
first.
Calvin Johnson one, and I
Heard
also
it
have
here
one
first.
Bobby Lane. I got a lot of them. We could just do one per segment.
Okay, let's talk about this game right here below us. Greg, you are up in the picks. You've got some room to roll the dice. Maybe
Take
you're
them.
taking the Jags.
I thought about it hard. How did you know? I am taking the Jaguars to cover the spread. I think they're going to thread the needle. Trevor Lawrence isn't fighting a fair fight here. He doesn't have the running game or the defense that Dak Prescott does, but he might be the better quarterback, at least right now in this game. Trevor Lawrence is playing so well. I got to show some incompletions. I mean, that's moving to the left in the pocket on a dime
got it.
to Zay Jones. You got to catch that. That's one of the throws of the week. Trevor Lawrence has moments in these games, quarters at a time, where he just gets unconscious. This was a pass interference where he has about a 2-inch window and he puts it on the shoulder of the cornerback. It didn't happen, and then the touchdown to Evan Ingram. I just love the confidence he is playing with. You can hear it in his press conference. You can see it on the field when he disregarded his coach's wishes and ran a 2-point conversion in by himself. They didn't know what he was doing. Trevor's just taking over.
He's
And
growing
so I
up.
think he threads the needle and wins, or keeps it close. What
Love
does he
it.
got?
I said he's growing up.
Oh, he is.
Yeah.
I have 28-21 in this one in favor of the Cowboys, in part because of their defense. Trevor Lawrence has been playing pretty well. He is on the injury report, though, so I expect him to play. However, it is something worth monitoring. But I really want to talk about how he's been spreading it around. So when you talk about Zay Jones, he's a good pick for fantasy if you're desperate for a wide receiver. You talk about Evan Ingram. You talk about all of the different ways that he's been effective and efficient. That has a lot of shades of when Carson Wentz was at his best with Doug Peterson, and those shades of spreading it to all of his different pass catchers. That is a huge advantage. So I think a 7-point win, so nothing too crazy in there. I understand 4.5 is what it is, but I think a nice 1-score win and a nice evolution of, Trevor Lawrence's evolution is going great, and I think we see that to continue. Heck, they're still in it for the NFC South. Like, they're not out of it yet, which is wild.
Yeah, it got some teams going in the wrong direction there, of course, and then Houston making it a little bit easier for everybody else in
Yeah,
the division.
Thanks, Houston.
I have
You have a problem.
I have a 3-point win by the Dallas Cowboys. And yes, everything that we have said today about Trevor Lawrence is absolutely true. But the Dallas Cowboys defense, it's hard to stay away from just the amount of pressure. They're still leading the league in pressure percentage, although the Eagles are pushing close to that. But Trevor Lawrence, under pressure this season, his passer rating drops 38 points. He's got 19 touchdowns and 4 picks without pressure. Under pressure, he's completing 50%, exactly 50% of his passes. I think that's enough for Dak and company to get some points and win it by a field goal, Rachel.
Sometimes you just get like a feeling in your gut going into the week.
Ooh, is she going to do it?
I'm not crazy. Whoa. I've actually got a gigantic win for the Cowboys. 31-14 over the Jags. They beat up on the Colts 54-19 a couple of weeks ago, and then they had a really weird game against the Texans. Dak threw 2 picks. That's the kind of game that you go, it kind of like scares you straight. Mike McCarthy was saying, this is a cheese game. Don't fall into this trap. We're huge favorites. And that is exactly what they did. And that's the kind of game that's like, oh, whoa. We are too close to the playoffs. We are too close to the end of the season to let this slip away and start getting messy and making mistakes. They bounce back big here against the Jags, 31-14. I got the Cowboys. Okay, Patrick, Titans, Chargers. Is that an overly aggressive dog I hear barking? Could this be a Straybon?
I think so. If you guys didn't pick the Tennessee Titans, because I'm taking the Tennessee Titans in this one 24-21, and yes, it is because of the run game. And we can go back to the best Chargers performance at stopping the run all season. They held Josh Jacobs, the NFL's leading rusher, to 57 yards on 10 carries. Yes, that's right. In their best defensive performance against the run, they still allowed 5.7 yards per carry. The King and the Titans win here. They will run the ball, unlike the Miami Dolphins, who cost me a pick.
I mean, let's get that stray dog a home. He's just so angry.
Yeah.
So angry.
Give him a shot of rabies medication. Oh, God. Greg, Eagles are 9-point favorites against the Bears. I have them winning by 21. Are you that
You got
brave?
some big old scores this week.
That seems rude.
Yeah, I'm going all
I
out.
have the Eagles winning 38-27. I just think there's going to be a lot of points on both sides, and it'll be a good game for the Eagles to work on their run defense, and also a good game to showcase how much Jalen Hurts has improved as a passer. I think you look at what he did against the Giants, and you recognize this is high-level quarterbacking. This is throwing it over the line of the defense. This is throwing with anticipation. He makes that throw under pressure before the receiver makes the route, the cut in his route. Same thing right here. Devontae Smith has not made the break in his route. It's third down. Those are the plays that are keeping drives alive right now for the Eagles so that they can set up the running game. Hole shots against zone coverage. I mean, from the pocket, he is one of the most accurate quarterbacks in the league. He is not a guy who throws on the run that much because he doesn't need to. He's
your
throwing
MVP?
dimes. He's not my MVP because Patrick Mahomes is in the league. Why did you do that?
No, I just was
You
curious.
made
were
me
good.
say something
Eagles
negative.
fans were going to
I
be
wasn't
really
saying
happy
negative.
until...
I thought you were actually going to say yes. Like I thought I was setting you. I thought I was like teeing up. You could spike it down. No.
I just like Patrick Mahomes.
There's still time. There's still time. Okay, Cynthia, Cardinals, Broncos, a game I'm sure we were very excited about when the schedules came out back in May. I'm less excited about it now, so I'll let you pick it. Go ahead.
Okay, great. So I have 21-19 Broncos. This is an interesting one. The Brett Rippon, Colt McCoy situation is odd, but I do want to say that if you're a James Conner fantasy owner, you should still start him. Why? Because he's going to be pretty much their entire rushing attack, and the Broncos are vulnerable to the run. We've seen it. And James Conner gets in the end zone. He doesn't get enough love. This has been a weird team. This has been a weird situation. And kind of the other guys are available, meaning DeAndre Hopkins. So they're not going to pull those corners in. They're not going to keep the safeties in. They're going to give him some space and a lighter box to work with or catch those shorter passes. So James Conner's going to have a good game. Just, I think that the Broncos come out with the win.
There you go. We got a positive out of
Yes.
it. All right, it's time for quick picks. Let me check my notes here. Oh, I've got the Chiefs winning by 30. Cool story, Texans. You almost beat the Cowboys, but you didn't. How out of control does this game get?
Well, when I'm looking at this game, I mean, I only have 32-19. It's a little conservative, but since then, so no Dameon Pierce, no. I mean, it's almost easier. I don't even know who's playing, right? Like the Nico Collins not playing. You know, Brandon Cooks not playing. There's a lot of people out. Derek Stingley not playing, but you know who is playing? The running backs for the Kansas City Chiefs, which is why I think it's a slower-paced game, which is why it becomes a little bit closer than maybe expected. Because I think Jerick McKinnon, I think Isaiah Pacheco, they're going to have huge games against this very confusing defense.
All right, next game we got Falcons Saints. Greg, this one's for you. An awesome game in week one. Unfortunately, neither of the quarterbacks from that game will play in this one, but we will get to see Desmond Ridder, which is somehow enough for you to give them the win.
Yeah,
What?
I think it's fortunate. A little
Okay.
Just Greg action here. Come on. Falcons and Saints, best rivalry in the league. And I think Desmond Ridder's got to be an upgrade on Marcus Mariota. I think Mariota's inaccuracy and just inability to get the passing game going was holding them back. And this Saints team, there's a lot of bad vibes in the NFL, but I think the Saints might have the worst vibes. And there's no worse vibes than losing to your rival, Atlanta Falcons, at home. That crowd is going to be unhappy. And I think Desmond Ridder's going to run all over them.
I like this.
Yeah.
Okay, this next one, Patrick, you're taking a lot of swings today.
Yes.
Giants Commanders Part 2. We are all rolling with Washington, and you're going Giants.
I am, and I haven't picked the Giants a lot this season. I was literally looking for a reason to pick the Giants, and I hear a voice in my head that's like, "Hey, that D-line's playing pretty well." It was actually Greg Rosenthal's voice, and he was probably trying to get me to make this pick. But I'm inspired because he's confident enough in Desmond Ridder, sight unseen, because he thinks Marcus Mariota was playing so bad. And I've just seen, watch Kayvon Thibodeau here in his last 3 games. He has 7 quarterback hits. And in overtime, Taylor Heineke and Daniel Jones, for that matter, were both being hidden by their offensive coordinators. I saw something late from the Giants that makes me believe.
Patrick has not picked the Commanders once this entire season.
No way.
That's a true
Is that
story.
true?
Yeah, that's true.
Okay. You're standing with it. All right. You got to respect it. Okay, Monday night, it is my turn. We got Rams, Packers. I think you can guess where I'm going. Listen, I might be eating my shorts on Monday, but I will not regret it. I'm going Rams 27 and 24. Why do we do that? 27 and 24 for the Rams. Listen. There's something to be said about getting your mojo back. Stella got her groove back, well, so did Baker Mayfield, okay? NFC Offensive Player of the Week. I don't know if you guys just saw, he also won the Nickelodeon Player of the Week. He got slimed by his teammates. That's bonding, Greg. That is bonding. That got to pour slime all over their new quarterback's head.
Do you want to be slimed?
No.
Like, what are you talking about here?
Stay away from me with that slime.
We've bonded enough, okay? We don't need slime. I love this. I might regret it, but it's just going to be a fun pick the whole way home. Go Baker Mayfield. Okay.
It was dangerous at the end.
Yeah, it was a fun
Wow.
time on this show for the last
Scary.
4 seasons, but I'm going to be taking a leave of absence from the NFL. I'm afraid. Sorry.
That piece would have been a lot better if the Raiders had won last week, but here we are. Greg, you heard from the people. Are you going to pick with your heart here or your heart?
I don't even know what my heart says
Yeah,
anymore.
neither
It's
do
just
I.
cold and black and broken. I'm picking the Raiders.
There we go.
Yeah,
There it is.
black and
It's
silver.
black.
Let's do it. It's more about picking against the Patriots, though.
Yeah.
The Patriots right now, they used to be a team that waits for other teams to make mistakes, and they just kind of win that way. Now they are that team because of Matt Patricia and their offense. Every week, I just watch the discombobulation, the lack of communication. Like, Mac Jones is yelling at Matt Patricia, and everyone's like, yeah, Mac's right. They are missing a lot of offensive players. Matt Patricia's fake smiling on the sideline. Don't be fake smiling when you get delay of games and penalties and just sloppiness. I think they find a way to lose this game offensively. Raiders win 24-22.
Wow. That was like shots fired.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I'm going exactly the opposite. Matt Patricia, you're going to win this one. 24-22. I do want to give some love to Josh Jacobs, though, in this situation. But, you know, this whole Belichick, like, I'm going to take away your best player, blah, 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 blah. You could still play him for fantasy purposes because they're going to have to devote resources to stopping Devontae Adams. So Josh Jacobs will still be good for your fantasy playoffs. I do like the opportunity that Jacobs gives them to keep the ball from being turned over. However, here's the thing, and this is a big deal. They're only running the ball, and then the Patriots throw the ball, which I do think will happen more often because we saw it last week. Then that's going to change the possession. So 24-22, Patriots win this one. And this is your low-key flex because you actually like the Patriots.
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't like these Patriots.
I think you
I don't
do
recognize
like the
them anymore.
Patriots, and
Yeah.
that's why Matt Patricia just caught like the most direct shot that we've had on the show.
You get me, Patrick.
There it is.
I don't.
Honestly, well, who does? It's Greg Russell. I've got the Raiders. I'm with Greg here. 22-17.
Okay.
And let's talk about this Patriots passing game because the Raiders have been very forgiving to opposing passing games, but just this is Mac Jones operating. This is what it looks like. But what do we not see, Greg, in these passes from Mac Jones or in the Patriots passing game at all?
Patriots in the end zone.
Yes. Mac Jones has completed 1 pass into the end zone all season. They've only thrown 8 passes into the end zone all season. That stat was crazy to me. And the Giants and the Patriots stand alone. Everybody else has at least 16 attempts into the end zone. I'm not sure what's going on, but yeah, Matt Patricia, be ready for, I don't know. Watch out for Greg like he's
I'm a Matt
watching out for
Patricia apologist here, and I think he actually does watch us. So Matt,
We love you.
the girls, well, at least I love you. I don't know. Maybe I don't know who you're picking.
Greg's out of there.
Patricia. I'm going with Patriots as well.
Okay.
I
Big
really
Matt
don't
Patricia
feel
fans.
confident about either side here, but I have the Patriots winning 21-17. That Raiders loss, I hate to keep on bringing it up, but Bill Belichick is like a shark. He smells when there is blood in the water. And with the Raiders, there is blood in the water and has been all season. Do you guys remember a couple weeks ago when Derek Carr started crying in the post-game press
You haven't
conference?
forgiven him for it since.
I have not because it stood out so much. much. The entire season I think about it about once a week, okay? That is not a confident quarterback that feels good in his team and the vibes. I'm going Patriots 21-17. There was a lot of trash talked about the Raiders this week. Kyle Brandt on Good Morning Football said that they should have walked back to Las Vegas after that loss. And they've had to just sit and stew in that loss for a week and a half, or whatever. I can't do math anymore. Cynthia, the Bengals are one of the hottest teams in football right now, and the Bucs play in Florida, where it can get hot. There's the correlation there. Just probably not this week in December, mid-60s. It doesn't matter. What do you got in this game?
I have the hot Bengals staying hot in the hot climate.
There you go.
There we go. I have 25-22 in this matchup. There's a lot of banged up pieces on both sides of the ball here. So I am going to give some love to Chris Godwin because I do think that if Tom Brady is going to connect with any pass catcher, we've seen some really weird stuff here from Mike Evans. So I think Chris Godwin, again, I'm really trying to give you fantasy playoff advice today. That's like what my theme is apparently here. But Chris Godwin has been the sure hand here. And if there's areas to exploit with so many of these defensive pieces missing and banged up, that would be the one for fantasy. That's the one you want.
Only one game we haven't hit on, and that's because it's the Panthers and the Steelers. A loss gives Mike Tomlin his first losing season ever. I am taking the Steelers. I don't want that to happen. Greg's taking the Steelers. Are you taking the Steelers 4 weeks in a row?
I'm not taking the Steelers here. I'm taking the Carolina Panthers, and the reason is with one win from Steve Wilks, he can equal any season of Matt Rule coaching the Carolina Panthers. This could be his 5th win of the season after taking over when the team was 1-4 and absolutely hopeless. And he's not just doing it with Sam Darnold, he's doing it with a defense that over the past 3 games has held opponents to around 15 points per game. And yes, 2 of those offenses were bad, but they did it against Geno on the road. I've got the Panthers here.